The Siddis are an Afro-Indian ethnic group that settled in North Karnataka, especially in the Uttara Kannada district. In general, the Siddi people are found mainly along the west coast of India. According to records and scholars, the Siddis are descendants of Africans who were brought to India mainly by Arab, Portuguese, and Dutch voyagers. The slave trade between Western India and East and Southeast Africa sheds light on the origin of the Siddis. The African ancestors of the Siddi people are thought to have first arrived in India in or around 628 AD. More Africans began to arrive after this time following the first Islamic invasions of India in the 8th century. Some of the Africans who later settled in India were also soldiers of the Islamic invasion. Even later, the Portuguese began to bring more Bantu peoples from Southeast Africa, and these Africans later converted to Islam or Hinduism. Aside from the Siddi people's common origin, there are three distinct religious groups among them: Hinduism, Islam, and Christianity. They of course seem to have adopted these faiths largely due to history. The Siddi people are no doubt unique when it comes to the history of enslaved people, because on an individual level, many of them managed to gain positions of power, wealth, and influence, even becoming rulers of Indian states. Groups of Siddis, specifically from the region of Ethiopia, even formed their own nation, then known as a Janjari state. For a former enslaved population to gain such status, wealth, and power over the generations is extremely rare. The fortified island of Janjara is situated just within the entrance of the Rajapuri Creek, which was an anchoring place for the Siddi vessels. It divided the Janjari state into the northern and southern sections. Half a mile east on the main island stands the town of Rajpuri, and 2 miles southeast of it is the fort of Danda. They form the headquarters of the land possessions of the Siddis, covering much of the modern district of Ragad. From this tract were drawn the revenue and provisions of Janjari. Janjara can be taken to be the best specimen of naval fort architecture of the Muslims. As the Siddis had to defend themselves, it had all the equipment necessary for a township: a palace, quarters for officers, private houses, mosques, 2 water tanks for drinking water, and an inner citadel overlooking the sea. There can be no doubt at all that the Siddi people influenced the direction of Indian history. One of the greatest known Siddis is Malik Ambar. Malik Ambar's influence on India was far-reaching, as his reforms in revenue and military administration was adopted by other Indian kingdoms. He founded new cities in India and is even considered a pioneer in guerrilla warfare for that region. As Prime Minister, Malik Ambar held undisputed control over Ahmadnagar's military and civil affairs, and his daughter had been assimilated into the Nazim Shahi royal household for 20 years. His family had also merged with the African component of the ruling class of neighboring Bijapur. Another great Siddi leader was Ikhlas Khan. Ikhlas Khan attained great power and held the position of Prime Minister in the court of Bijapur. Ikhlas Khan was an Abyssinian or Ethiopian noble who bore the name of Malik Rehan Habshi. He served the sultans of Bijapur and was rewarded for his loyalty and abilities with the title of Ikhlas Khan. During the reign of Ibrahim Adil Shah II, Ikhlas Khan was given the title of Wakil-u-Sultanate, or Commander of the Army, and also served as finance minister. He attained great influence and power and was appointed to the position of chief minister under Muhammad Adil Shah. The importance of Ikhlas Khan is evident from the many royal paintings in which he appears alone or with his royal patrons. There are many other influential Siddi people throughout Indian history, such as poets, commanders, and naval admirals. The Siddi people are perhaps the only Afro-descended people to go on and form or rule multiple states and kingdoms in the land in which they were enslaved, the key word being multiple. Unfortunately today, Siddi history has been largely erased in India, and many are in poverty due to the discrimination and lack of opportunity they experience. But the history of the Siddi people, like many Afro-descended people around the world, shines very bright once given the chance to do so. Well, I'm all out, guys.